Hello! Today I'm going to be going over all of the Matchday 2 results in the UEFA Nations League day by day. Matchday 2 is broken off into 3 different days, just like Matchday 1. I did do this for Matchday 1 and you guys seem to enjoy it, which is why I'm going to be doing it again. If you haven't checked out Matchday 1 yet, please do. I'll leave a link in the description. So today is September 6th, which means only the first set of matches have happened so far. Since the UEFA Nations League will be taking a pause for about a month or so, I will be going over the group standings as well. So first match I'm going to be looking at is Andorra versus Fero Islands. A 1-0 win for Fero Islands. They're doing really well in this group actually. They scored 3 in the last match and 1 in this one, which brings them to a total of 6 points in this Nations League so far. Looking at the stats, they obviously were more dominant against Andorra. Now for the other match in this group, Latvia versus Malta, the teams drew 1-1, which means Fero Islands is the only nation in this group that have any wins at all, and they have 2. Latvia has 2 draws and no wins, no losses, and Malta and Andorra both have a draw and a loss. It's hard to tell with this group, but it's also a bit surprising that Fero Islands are doing so well against these other teams. Next up we have Wales versus Bulgaria. Wales get another 1-0 victory in their belt. This time though it was a 94th minute header from Liverpool's youngster Neco Williams. Bulgaria only had 2 shots the whole game and not a single one was on target, so Wales were a bit more dominant. But still, this match could have gone either way. The other match in this group being Ireland versus Finland. Finland win 1-0 from Jensen's 63rd minute goal. Looks like a pretty even match on paper, but yeah, Finland did lose in the previous match against Wales. They're now in second in their group. Wales are in first. Ireland and Bulgaria are in last, both sharing 1 point. Next up we got Slovenia versus Moldova. Bohar manages to get this goal. Ilicic has not been playing for this squad. Pretty sure he's taking a break. I don't know what his situation is. Last time I heard his wife cheated on him, so he wouldn't even play in the Champions League final against PSG. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, I hope he comes back soon because he's a beast. Without Ilicic though, they still managed to secure a win. Moldova seem to handle these situations very well defensively because they drew 1-1 to Kosovo. They only conceded 1 goal against Slovenia. I mean, these are not bad teams. And yeah, looks like they got some defensive strats going, but they do need to score eventually. Next up, we have Kosovo versus Greece. Greece get a very early goal in the 2nd minute, following another 51st minute goal. They're up 2-0, but then Bernard Berisha scores from a scissor kick in the 80-something minute. Yeah, 82nd. Looking at the stats, the match was very even, so it does suck that Kosovo weren't able to do more. But good job to Greece. They're in first in their group now. Tied with Slovenia actually, but still. They're both sharing 4 points. Kosovo and Moldova are at the bottom. There's still hope for Kosovo though. This ain't over for them. It's not like they're playing badly. They're putting up good fights against all these teams. They just need some more luck on their side. We'll see what happens in this group. I am curious to see what happens when Kosovo plays Slovenia. Next up, Switzerland versus Germany. Germany rocked a very questionable formation in this game actually. Werner on the left wing and Draxler at striker seems fishy to me, but the only goal scored for Germany was their center mid Gundogan in the 14th minute, but Switzerland put a brilliant fight against these guys. And they actually had a very even match. Widmer ended up scoring for them in the 57th minute to make it 1-1, which ended up being the final result. Yeah, judging off the stats, doesn't seem like Germany even defended that well, so I don't know. Lowe's tactics do seem a bit questionable now, but we'll see. He did win a World Cup 6 years ago. Next up, Spain versus Ukraine. An absolute slaughterhouse from Spain. Sergio Ramos gets 2 goals pretty early on. Ansu Fati scores his first international goal at only 17 years old. What a beast. And then Torres scores in the 84th minute, making the final result 4-0. Ukraine were able to do nothing against these guys. Spain had 25 shots, 10 on target, while Ukraine had 4 shots and 2 on target, 30% possession. Looks like Spain are back at it, and they are first in their group. Even though Ukraine lost 4-0, they still sit at second because they did get 1 win. While Germany don't have any wins, they have 2 draws, and Switzerland has 1 draw and 1 loss. Oof. Next up we've got Serbia versus Turkey, and this result is a bit disappointing for both sides. It ended 0-0 and Serbia get a red card from one of their better players as well, Kolarov. Looking at the stats, Serbia only got 1 shot on target the entire match and 41% possession. Turkey weren't even able to capitalize from this red card, so it's not a complete loss for Serbia, but losing Kolarov for the next match is a huge blow. And then Hungary versus Russia. Russia are actually killing it. This is their 2nd time they scored 3 goals in 1 match. They did have a 3-0 lead and they did almost blow it, with Hungary getting 2 goals later on in the match. Their first one actually being a pretty stunning chip. Anyway, Russia are proving to be really clinical because they had 3 shots on target the whole match and they got 3 goals. So every shot that they buried that was on target went in. Hungary had more shots on target than them and they still couldn't win. An interesting result indeed. Both teams were looking pretty good out there. Right now we've got Russia at first, Hungary in second, Turkey in third, and Serbia in fourth. It's obviously too early to call anything, but Russia have a phenomenal start to this so far. Let's see if they can keep getting good results and get first in this group. That's it for the September 6th matches. Let's see what happens tomorrow. Alright, so the second day of match day 2. I wasn't able to record earlier, I had some stuff to do. So now it's like 1 a.m, but I still am going to get this stuff out of the way. Although I wasn't able to record, I was able to watch the second half of Bosnia versus Poland and Netherlands versus Italy. Starting off with Bosnia versus Italy, a controversial penalty was made. I don't know if I got the best angle on it, but commentators were saying they thought it was not a penalty. Either way, the ref said it was, so Bosnia banged the first goal, but Poland responded pretty well by scoring in the 45th minute and the 67th minute. They put up a good fight against Bosnia, and Bosnia could not be clinical enough. Poland definitely had way more opportunities throughout the match and did look like they were fighting harder to get this win. Bosnia were not looking as impressive as they were against Italy, but still, you never know what's going to happen. We still got a lot of matches to go. Next up, Netherlands versus Italy. Italy managed to get that away win 1-0. Nicolo Barella scores in the 45th minute. Overall, Italy did look a little bit more dominant than Netherlands, and I did think Netherlands were going to top this group. But right now, Italy are sitting at first, Netherlands second, Poland third, and Bosnia last. I actually can't wait for the rest of the matches for this group. Fun fact, every single match today was won by the away team, except for Israel versus Slovakia, with Israel scoring a 91st minute goal to secure a tie against this side. Slovakia were not looking dominant in this game. They definitely were lacking on the stats. They did get an early goal, but it wasn't enough, and Israel managed to finally get something in the back of the net after getting so many shots on. The other match in this group, Czech Republic versus Scotland. Scotland did manage to beat Czech Republic, but Czech Republic did look more dominant in the stats. Scotland's second half goal was a penalty, and the possession was even, but Czech Republic did have a lot more opportunities. In the last match as well, they had problems getting shots on target, and the same thing happened today. 19 shots, 4 on target, weren't clinical enough. Therefore, Scotland were able to take advantage of them. This clutch win from Scotland's got them in first, Czech Republic second, Israel third, and Slovakia fourth, with the points being 4-3-2-1. Interesting stuff. Now we're going to move on to Albania versus Lithuania. I thought Albania was going to be able to dominate this group, but they got a loss today against Lithuania. A defender made a horrible pass to the back, which gave the Lithuania striker an easy one-on-one with the keeper. He was able to convert, and that was the only goal in the match. Following that, one of Albania's best players, Hasai, gets a red card in the 87th minute, which is a huge blow for them for the next set of matches. The other match in this group, surprisingly, almost the same thing happened. Kazakhstan versus Belarus. Belarus were able to secure a late goal the same way pretty much. A Kazakhstan defender gave a horrible pass to the back, giving Belarus a golden opportunity at the end of the match. Match ended 1-2, and looking at the stats, it could have gone either way. It's just kind of sad to see teams blow it like this. So far in this group, every single team has the same amount of points, so it doesn't even really matter where they're sitting at the group, because it's really based on goal differentials. Now let's take a look at Northern Ireland versus Norway, a match that ended with 6 goals. At the beginning of this match, there were 2 early goals, one from Norway in the 2nd minute, one from Northern Ireland in the 6th minute, but then Holland and Sorloth both get a brace. Holland's goals were sick. Norway are doing bits, and they're definitely learning from their mistakes from their previous match against Austria. Last match we're covering today, also in this group, Austria versus Romania. This match finished 2-3, and when you look at the stats, it's super surprising that Romania managed to win this, because it looks like Austria dominated. 3 out of 4 shots Romania did have on target did go in the back of the net, and they were able to win this match. Bravo Romania, but I am a bit surprised considering Austria were able to get a good result against Norway in the previous match day, and now they just barely blew it against Romania. Looking at the standings, we've got Romania in first, Austria in second, Norway in third, and Northern Ireland in fourth. Things are gonna get super interesting in this group for sure next time we go around, because all these teams have had their moments where they've done brilliantly. Okay, wait, I take that back, except for Northern Ireland. Alright, that's the end of the matches today. Tomorrow, the most massive one. You all know I'm gonna be watching France versus Croatia. Let's see what happens, drugovi. Out again. I'm gonna save Croatia for the end again, because obviously I'm gonna be talking about that the most. Let's start out with Armenia versus Estonia. Armenia get a solid win against Estonia. Both of their goals came towards the middle of the match. Even game overall, but Albania proved to be more clinical, so they got their thoroughly deserved win. Next up, Georgia versus North Macedonia. Georgia get a penalty pretty early on. Then Ristovski for North Macedonia gets a goal in the 33rd minute. And then Musliu gets a red card in the 64th minute. This doesn't do any damage for Macedonia for the match. It still finishes 1-1. But when you look at the stats, North Macedonia are very lucky. It is just 1-1, because it looks like Georgia dominated. Macedonia only had 1 shot on target and 2 shots in total. Despite the weird result from Macedonia, they are sitting first in their group, and Georgia is sitting at second. They both have 4 points. Armenia third, Estonia fourth. Next up, Cyprus versus Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan pick up their form. They managed to get 1 goal, beating Cyprus 1-0. Cyprus only had 1 shot on target the entire match. Azerbaijan played a bit better than for sure. This is more of what I expect from Azerbaijan. I was surprised they lost the previous time, to be honest. And then Luxembourg versus Montenegro. It was 0-0 for the majority of the match. Luxembourg actually are a very decent side. I am surprised about this. They are pulling off a lot of opportunities throughout each match. But anyway, Christopher Martins gets a red card in the 84th minute, and Montenegro get a penalty at the end of the game, making them win 1-0. Bravo to them, but it looks like Luxembourg put out a really good fight against them. With Montenegro's penalty, this puts them at first in their group. They've got 6 points. Luxembourg got 3, and they're sitting at second. Azerbaijan also with 3 points. They're sitting in third, and then Cyprus in last with no points. Liechtenstein beat San Marino 2-0, but I'm not going to go over the group standings because San Marino did play 2 more matches, yet they're still in last. Wow. Belgium versus Iceland now. Belgium absolutely destroy Iceland. 5-1. We've got goals from Witsel, 2 from Batshuayi, 1 from Mertens, and 1 from Doku. Looking at the stats, there's no question that Belgium did not dominate these guys. Most people expect Belgium to win, but Iceland do have better expectations for themselves. I do know that. They're definitely not going to sit well with this result. Denmark versus England. Now this match finishes 0-0. Both teams only have 2 shots on target the entire match. Denmark do have almost double the shots though. But yeah, a 0-0 result. Nothing much to say there. I'm surprised England have not scored yet, apart from their penalty against Iceland. Belgium topped this group with 2 wins, giving them 6 points. England second with 4 points. Denmark at third with 1 point, and Iceland in last with 0. Then we got Sweden versus Portugal. Ronaldo sat out against Croatia, and now he's back, and he was the only one who ended up on the score sheet against the Swedish guys. 2 goals for him, and they were both actually fantastic. One of them being his 100th goal for Portugal. One of them was a free kick, and the other was a nice long shot. And looking at the stats, Portugal absolutely dominated this match. Ronaldo's back in business. Bittersweet sight to see. And finally, France versus Croatia. In the last match day, Croatia played Portugal, and they absolutely got destroyed. It honestly should have been more than 4-1. They got lucky. It was just that the performance was awful there. Croatia definitely did play better this time around. The match starts off with Lovren scoring from a corner. It was a great goal. He was fully composed, but he did get a bit carried away later on as France scores 2 goals. And when you just look at it, you can just tell the Croatian defense is not up to par. They're not marking well enough against these French guys. Berkalo gets one early on in the second half. He received a beautiful pass, and he was able to get a nice, somewhat solo goal, dribbled around a couple players, but then France get another goal in the 65th minute, and then a very, very harsh penalty was given to France on Croatia's handball. The ball did hit the player's knee and then bounced to the hand. It was super unlucky, and Giroud converted the penalty for them. But it was an intense match, and even though Croatia did lose, and I'm super annoyed about that, they did put out a very good fight. They do look a lot stronger than they did before. They're just still messing up in some defensive bits, and Livakovic also was not as brilliant. He should have saved France's 3rd goal for sure. When I look at the formation, I am definitely happier with how Zlatko Dalic organized this compared to the last match. However, the 2 fullbacks definitely lack experience, and I don't think they did a very brilliant job today. And obviously we're still missing Modric and Rakitic, but obviously France are stacked, but they still also weren't playing a lot of their top players. Obviously it was a good time for France to experiment their other players. They have a lot of good squad depth. Most people would have predicted France would have beaten Croatia. I definitely got a lot of hope once Lovren scored that first goal because Croatia are actually playing really well, but they did end up slipping at the end. It's not good to walk out with 2 losses at the beginning, but at least it was an improvement compared to the Portugal result. Hopefully we get our 2 amazing midfielders back for the next set of matches. And that's the end of the video, guys. Thank you all for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. I'll probably be doing this again once the next set of match days are coming out, but it's going to be a while until. I'm pretty sure it's like a month. Let me know if you have any ideas of what you want to see next on this channel, and take care. La con noche.